So this is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I have never read a Hades and Persephone retelling that is this spicy. Hello Tandem fandom, my name is Alexis and welcome to the Tandem Collective, where you can find the latest book recommendations, releases, and news from Team Tandem. February is the month of love, and so I thought it was only appropriate, if I were to do a fantasy video, to focus on the biggest, most popular, newly coined subgenre in fantasy, and that would of course be Romantasy. Romantasy is a term that I would say started being used a lot about 2 years ago on bookish social media to describe fantasy books where there was a lot of romance and the plot was also somewhat driven by romance. Since then, the popularity of this subgenre has boomed, especially with authors like Sarah J. Maas, Rebecca Yarros, the author of Fourth Wing, and there is a demand from readers for more romantasy. Not only that, but spicy romantasy. So today I'm going to give you 5 and 5 spicy romantasy recommendations. If you are a fan of Sarah J. Maas or Rebecca Yarros, then this video is for you. These are all classed as adult fantasies, and they do have explicit sexual scenes in them, as is referenced by the term spicy, which has also become popularized in the last couple of years on bookish social media to describe books that have explicit sex scenes in them. So if that's what you're looking for, a very spicy romantasy, then keep watching. The first spicy romantasy I'm going to recommend is Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. And you might know Chloe Gong as the author of These Violent Delights and These Violent Ends, as well as the Foul Heart Huntsman series. And These Violent Delights, that duology was a Romeo and Juliet retelling in 1920 Shanghai. Immortal Longings is a brand new series from Chloe Gong. It's her first adult fantasy, and this is a retelling of Antony and Cleopatra. It takes place in the capital twin cities of San Air, and the king, every, I believe, year, he holds a tournament that's basically like a voluntary Hunger Games. So people can enter this tournament, and it takes place over, I believe, a few weeks, and basically all of the competitors are trying to kill each other. And the last man standing gets money and also gets congratulated by the king in person. A lot of people in this world have the ability to jump bodies, and this is a skill that is used a lot in this tournament, this deadly game. We meet Princess Kala, who has been in hiding because she massacred her whole family, including her parents, and has been in hiding ever since. We don't know why this has happened, but she enters these games so that she will be in close contact with the king of the other of the twin cities and be able to kill him as well. We also have Anton Makuza, who is an exiled aristocrat, and he has entered the games as well and is very skilled in the whole body jumping. And then the third player in this arena of sorts is August, who is the king's adopted son and is really wanting to take over from his adopted father because he feels like the king is complacent and that if he were the monarch, he could make real change and progress in his kingdom. So you have these 3 power players during this tournament, and it's very interesting the way that their goals, their objectives all get caught up in each other, and they are forced in certain ways to help each other. At the end of it, though, there can be only one winner of this competition. So you'll just have to read and see what happens. Spice definitely comes into it. The back of the book really says it all. It says, tear down a lover, rebuild the kingdom. So read Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong to see what happens next. The next book I'm going to recommend is A Shadow in the Ember, which is the first book in the Flesh and Fire series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Jennifer Armentrout has written a huge range of fantasy series and romance books, but probably she is best known for the From Blood and Ash series. The Fire and Flesh series that I'm talking about is actually a spin-off. It's a prequel series to the From Blood and Ash series, and dare I say it, I like it better than the original From Blood and Ash series. Armentrout fans, don't come for me, please. It's a prequel, so I feel as if the world is slightly simpler, and there is still a ton of spice in this book. It follows Sarah, who is the maiden is a title that she has. And so basically her role in this kingdom she lives in is that one day this primal of death, who is basically, primals are a step above the gods in this world, will come and claim her as his consort. And this is part of a deal that her ancestors made to keep her kingdom safe. What this primal of death does not know is that Sira has been training to make him fall in love with her and assassinate him. This, she is told, is the only way that will stop this pestilence that has been eating up her kingdom, eating the land, called the Rot. He comes to get her to become his consort, starts to get to know more about him, more about the politics of these kingdoms and the other primals, because he is just one, he's the primal of death. And there is so much spice and sexual tension. I would say out of all of the books and series that I'm recommending today, this would either be the most spicy romantasy I'm recommending or comes in second place, a very close second. There are currently 3 books out in this series, and it also features drakens, which are basically dragon shifters. So they have a human form and a dragon form, and they're also baby drakens, which are absolutely adorable. So that is A Shadow in the Ember, the first in the Fire and Flesh series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Next up for spicy romantasies is that book I mentioned that may rival the Fire and Flesh Jennifer Armentrout series as the most spicy book or series on this list, and that is Neon Gods by Katie Roberts, the first in the Dark Olympus series. So this is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and I have never read a Hades and Persephone retelling that is this spicy. Persephone lives in the upper city, and her mother is trying to force her to marry Zeus, which she really doesn't want to do. So she runs away, and as she is trying to flee this situation, a mysterious, wreathed in darkness probably, man comes and helps her to escape into the lower city. And this man, of course, is the man, the myth, Hades. Literally myth, because a lot of people apparently think that he's dead. Clearly not so much. So Persephone and Hades make a deal that she will share his bed and show everybody that they are together in order to avoid marrying Zeus, because if she clearly demonstrates that she and Hades are together, then Zeus will see her as ruined and impure and no longer want to marry her. The spicy scenes in this book are very explicit, and they, like I said, literally have to demonstrate that she is no longer pure. So there are some public scenes. The side characters are also really, really fun. There's a lot of great banter, and some of the other characters that we are introduced to in this book are the focus of other books in the series. So if you want a spicy Hades and Persephone retelling, you can go straight to Neon Gods. It will give you exactly that, and probably a little bit more than you bargained for. Next up for spicy romantasy, I'm recommending The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. I love this series. I've read these two, The Bridge Kingdom and The Traitor Queen, the sequel, but I have not yet read The Endless War, which is about two other characters in these books and takes place, I believe, during the events of The Traitor Queen. But anyway, back to The Bridge Kingdom. Bridge Kingdom follows Lara, who is the Princess of Margarina, and you might see there are some patterns in these recommendations. It has been arranged that she is to marry the King of Ithacana because Ithacana is a very advantageous territory in this world. It consists of a huge archipelago of islands that connect various other kingdoms, hence the Bridge Kingdom. Lara has never met this king, but her father takes her to go and marry him. And similarly to the Flesh and Fire series, he's actually trained her to be an assassin. And she's told by her father that this is the only way that their kingdom can prosper. So she goes to the Bridge Kingdom, marries Arin, the king of Ithacana, gets to know him, gets to learn more about this very mysterious kingdom because they don't let a lot of information out about the way their kingdom operates. As you can see, the teaser text is, "What if you fall in love with the one you were sent to destroy?" So there's definitely spice in this book. Natural hot springs may be involved, and the world building is just brilliant. It's unlike a lot of other fantasies, there's no magical elements or like magical creatures to it, but it is a mythical world. So it is still considered fantasy and definitely a spicy romantasy. What happens when Lara's father is like, why is he not dead yet? What happens if Arin finds out that she is an assassin that is meant to kill him? So you can find all of that out by reading The Bridge Kingdom. If Neon Gods and the Flesh and Fire series are the spiciest books I'm recommending, then this next recommendation is definitely the darkest. So for my final spicy romantasy recommendation, I'm recommending the Fever series by Karen Marie Moaning. It starts out with dark fever, and we meet Michaela, who is from the States but has traveled to Dublin, Ireland because her sister Alina was killed while she was there. So Michaela goes to Dublin to try and find out more about what happened to her sister and find some closure. Instead, Michaela, or Mac, finds out that her sister's death is connected to this mysterious book that her sister was looking for called the Shisadu. That leads her to a bookstore, and the owner of the bookstore, whose name is Jericho Barons, he's a really mysterious, very closed-off, broody male figure. And we also eventually get to meet some of who he calls his brothers, basically, who are similarly broody, giant muscled dudes. I don't know how else to describe them, really. They're supposed to be very sexy, and some are less broody and more bantery, but you get the idea. So Mac and Barons set out to find this Shisadu before anybody else does. It's this magical, ancient book of spells, and she becomes embroiled in this war between the Seelie Fae and the Unseelie Fae. Besides being Fae, the Seelie and Unseelie also have in common the fact that they are sexually addictive to humans. So anytime they're around humans, humans are turned on by them, and there's this allure, I suppose. So it's definitely quite a sexy series. It is very dark. There are a host of content warnings, so please comment or DM me on Instagram if you are interested in the content warnings. But it is a really cool urban fantasy set in Dublin with lots of ancient societies, artifacts, and really fun characters, as well as, of course, the spice. I'm going to bookend it there for today, but I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe added some new spicy romantasies to your TBR. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more bookish content from Team Tandem. You can sign up for our newsletter at the link at the bottom of the video description, and you can also find us on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.